2011 census report is 122 languages. Recently, a remarkable organization from Baroda, they have done a study of the languages in India. They found that something like 850 languages exist in India. There was a time when they had 1,700 languages, about 30, 40, 50 years ago. But many languages are dying very fast. The difference between the census languages and the languages now identified is the census identifies only those languages spoken by at least 10,000 people or more. That means there are 700 plus languages in India spoken by fewer than 10,000 people. In current day Arunachal Pradesh alone, there are 85 languages. Arunachal Pradesh is really, in terms of population, a very small state. In fact, the largest number of languages are in the current day northeastern India. In Assam, there are 55 languages. About 300 languages or 250 languages exist only in current day northeastern India. But as Dr. Reddy mentioned, there are actually 22 languages listed in the Indian Constitution. Initially 18. Eventually we added 4 more, Dogra, Bodo, so on and so forth. Now there are 22 listed languages plus English. Don't forget that. Now English is as Indian as any other language. Today we cannot think of, we are not able to communicate without English. So if we now say English is not a language in India, we will not be very wise. So really speaking, there are 23 languages now listed and recognized by the Constitution of India in the 8th schedule. And much of our discussion is about the 23 languages. But I wanted to give a perspective about language and also the fact that there are 122 listed languages in India in the census. When you talk of anything about language and language policy and rights of languages, we have to be extremely careful because to what extent can you recognize and respect the linguistic rights and cultural rights? Can all the 122 languages be interpreted? What about the languages where only 9,000 speakers are there? They're part of the data treaty. What about that? How small is small? How big is big? These are all the natural questions that come up. Therefore, we must look at pragmatic solutions when we look at language and linguistic rights and linguistic harmony across this vast continent of India. I do not know if you realize what happened in India in terms of dealing with language is an extraordinary miracle. We always criticize our politicians quite rightly. We attack our political parties, they deserve it most of the time. We hate our parliamentarians and legislators, we have contempt and we give them, if they come here, we show them respect. But in our heart, we harbor a lot of ill will. You know, there is a story about Disraeli and Gladstone. They were both great British statesmen in the 19th century. But they were from the rival parties. Disraeli was a great Tory and Gladstone was liberal. Both became prime ministers of their country. So one day somebody asked Disraeli, he said, Master, will you please tell us the difference between a misfortune and a calamity? Disraeli said, no, if Gladstone was to fall into river Thames, that is a misfortune. But if somebody sails in, that is a calamity. We all feel that way about our politicians and our political parties. There is a lot of anger. Even the sons and daughters of politicians, unless they themselves have gotten into politics, they generally hate politics in this country. But we must also recognize that these very politicians did a remarkable job of preserving linguistic harmony. The 22 languages, apart from English, 22 Indian languages, that we are able to communicate freely. There is interstate free trade and commerce. There is the ability to communicate ideas, build political parties, mobilize the public opinion, secure the mandates, and govern ourselves. It's a remarkable tribute, unprecedented in human history. No other country accomplished this until now. Look at our southern neighbor Sri Lanka. Everybody in Tamil Nadu knows about Sri Lanka. This whole demand for Elam and so on and so forth. What is the problem? There are just 2 languages. Sinhala, the majority people's language, and Tamil, a significant minority in the northern part of the country. Just because the leadership did not have the vision and the wisdom to harmonize the interest of these two language groups. For more than 30 years, there was strife, bloodshed. The president, several other senior leaders were assassinated. Our own former prime minister was assassinated in this very land, not too far from where we are standing here, within 25-30 kilometers from here. And only now, they are trying to recover from that enormous tragedy. And even now, everybody is worried about what will happen eventually. Will they build a federalism? Will they be able to really protect both the languages and give them the rights? Will the 13th Amendment as conceived earlier, will it actually become a reality? We don't know yet. It's still, the history of Sri Lanka is still not written. The final chapter is not yet written. We don't know what will happen eventually. They will have wisdom. Look at Pakistan, separated along with us. Took birth on the same day as we got our freedom, which we celebrated just 2 days ago, 3 days ago. Look at Pakistan. As a great son of Tamil Nadu, a great Indian, Rajaji, I don't know if you realize, Rajaji predicted that Pakistan will not last for 25 years. Exactly, almost as if they wanted to prove Rajaji right. In 1971, please remember, by 1972, August 47, August 15 or 14, they would have finished 25 years. Exactly on cue, after finishing 24 years, before finishing 25th year, the nation broke up. On language, essentially Punjabi versus Bengali. Language, culture, literature, civilization, history. Look at Belgium, a tiny country. Belgium,